What's up, guys? I'm a very late SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for October 2nd, 2023. 321 is already here, but it's not what it seems, and jump points are in the game, kind of, and people are seriously losing their minds about it, and a new dynamic event is here. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike every day but Monday, so I can get this video out to you guys, starting at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, we got a little bit to get through this week, so let's start out with what's gone on with the patch, because it's been crazy. And with that, on Tuesday, we had a hotfix, and they literally had to roll it back instantly because, I know this game is really big, but we're not checking to see if pips are working. Seems like this patch shouldn't have ever made it to us at all if it was, properly checked. Then Wednesday, we had the Tuesday hotfix that wasn't broken, basically. And fixes were for the audio bug, which seemed to have worked for me so far. I see some slight issues, but nothing like what we had before. Not sure what cargo issue that they fixed, but then that annoying third-person thing is also fixed, and an issue with the Connie snub fighters, which has been issues for patches now, so don't really expect that one to be fixed. And then, well, we had a 321 on the PTU, which came out of nowhere, and it came with a ton of interesting news. But first, let's touch on the features that are in the notes that are, kind of simple, and that is retrieve consignment. This was a pretty cool mission where they basically took the Correa event that you can trigger by killing guards there to the bunkers. So you kill guards, and then the bosses will have the data pad on them, just like Correa, and it's a list of items, and one of those is the mission item, and the order in which they'll come up the little elevator is the order in which they are on your data pad. Survive, drop it off, and profit. Pretty simple. And then Correa steal evidence. This is from Twitch, so it requires you to gain rep from her, and it's very similar to the consignment thing. And then old platform missions are back at Orison. Enough said there. They're out. They're outside of the fact that the new platform clusters are further away from the city. I think that's the only big change. But big things that are not in the notes. Well, you can clearly see this is not a 321 patch, right? Based off of the things in these notes. 320 is basically what this is. It's 320.1, but they're calling it 321 because they're doing something that they feel justifies it. And that is that they're going to be testing the replication layer in this PTU, and that's something that I've been calling out of hey, what's going on? Talk to us about this. What's happening? We will not be kicked to menu, essentially, is how they're describing this, but we'll simply be stalled when a server crashes until a new one spins up and is ready for us. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. And yeah, then there was some data mining, and there's essentially jump points in the game now at locations around Stanton. They data mined where they were, and they found where they were, and people got to them, surprisingly, and put beacons there to get to them. It was really cool. It was really nice to fly around there, see some cool signage and things around the location, and some of the, I guess, collision or just generally the location was neat. But the issue here is that people are starting to announce Pyro in 2023, 4.0 soon, and it's reinvigorating this hopefulness that CIG has given no reason to feel. The location is incredibly glitchy. There is no jump gate there. There is no active thing to click on and go anywhere. There's a lot more that needs to happen for this to go live, and I think the fact that we're just beginning to test the replication layer tells us how far away we are exactly, right? So it's why are people losing their minds over this? It's just, people are so easily amused by just locations, and yeah, it looks cool, and it is cool, but it's just that. It's just a cool location, which we have many of in Star Citizen. But what Star Citizen needs is entirely different than that, right? And then we had just a number of like extra things to call out. Elliot Maltby talked about if you've ever done salvage missions and Wake of Disaster, you've made millions of credits most likely. We've talked about it a lot on this channel, and they're gonna nerf it. Basically what he's calling out here is that they're going to nerf the missions, but not Wake. And I think we need Wake to stay fairly close to what it is now, because it's meant to be this everyone, you know, jumps to this location and fights over this money, essentially. It's Jumptown on steroids. It's awesome. I would say it shouldn't run during Jumptown, which is something that happened earlier this week. But other than that, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. But I think we all would agree that it's been pretty excessive on how much money people have made. Sylvan, for the graphics API, is basically posted under £10.42's video. I should suggest you guys check that out. He was just posting a quick video on 320 frame rates, and basically the old legacy renderer is now completely gone. More incoming, and Vulkan seems to be the focus now, which is pretty cool. And then the Chris Roberts response. I'm about a week late on this one because of the timing of the recording last week, but CR responded to a number of quality of life suggestions from a prominent Star Citizen creator, Tarada. He basically said things have been bad, namely with a third-party database that they've used, and they will get it working. And if they have to find a new one, they will. I mean, that's basically the most simple way to put it, because you probably have already heard it already. Great. Now just do that, right? I'm tired of hearing about how you're going to do better and how, oh, so sorry, you know, bad things happen. Wasn't our fault, though. No, just be better. Just be better. I don't care anymore. Just be better. You know, it's that simple. And for video updates this week, we just had an Inside Star Citizen titled Mission to Make, and they basically created a new mission called Data Heist, and they give the details on how it'll work.
Once you're inside the facility, you'll have to gain access to the mainframe.
We have hacking still in the PU, where you can use a crypto key. And there's also other methods that might be at the location that will help you access those mainframes, but I'll leave that for you to find.
Once you've hacked into there, you then have to allow the hacker into the system. But what you have to do is maintain the safety of those servers so that their upload can actually follow through.
We will then start to give you a couple of enemies populating the area.
At the same time, there's going to be the owners of those servers. Although they're not on site, they actually have the ability to remote into their systems, and they're probably not very happy with the idea that you're trying to steal their data.
During the mission, you will find that some of these servers will start to overheat. Now that's because the people that own the location are deciding, we can't kick out this hacker from the location, but we can try and either halt you or, you know, stop you from getting the data.
They turn off the cooling on these servers.
Okay, I edited this down as best I could, and it seems cool. And it's like the consignment missions, basically. It just might be like, you know, a bit of a smallish challenge, but also fun, which is basically how I would describe the consignment thing. But like any mission in game, it feels similar to the rest because of the lack of story or voice acting or just general, I don't know, feel of the locations. They're so cookie cutter and placeholder, I guess. It's different. Then they discuss a new global event, which is their reimagining of Ninetales Lockdown called Blockade Runner. And they start out with why they made the change in the first place.
Blockade Runner actually replaces Ninetales Lockdown. We analyzed Ninetales Lockdown, and we looked at participation in that global event. And we also looked at what players did in it. So participation in Ninetales Lockdown wasn't actually that high. We realized, like, there's no point maintaining this global event if no one plays it, you know? We looked back at the other ones that we had made, like Xenothreat, and looked at the gameplay in those that players do engage with and they enjoy. And that was the aspect of going on those wrecks in Xenothreat, picking up the crates and delivering them. They enjoy this experience. They enjoy working together as a team to do it. So we thought, what can we do with that and make a new event?
Well, Yeah, just looking at the data is one thing, but nobody played it because it was the most buggy of all the events you ever made. And it never felt like a lockdown. You could literally just land, and people were buying cargo before the event and knowing it was coming because it isn't actually dynamic. Like, there was so much wrong with this event that had nothing to do with the players not enjoying it. It was the way it was designed in the first place, right? There were so many problems here outside of it not being fun. It just didn't make any sense, right? And then they took a look at Xeno and said, what's good about Xeno? And that's fine. Like, Xeno is fun, but those elements, are they the spirit of Ninetales Lockdown? What is the spirit of it to you? Because for me, it's a proper spaceship PvE VP event that never quite delivered on that experience. Like, I think how they sold it to us, and I think what was so exciting about this, I think a lot of people were really excited about Ninetales, was that it provided that. It was a ship battle. It was everybody coming together to fight, and they've done a better job of this at, like, Wake of Disaster than they've done at these dynamic events. And yeah, it's tough. So what is Blockade Runner going to be then?
Blockade Runner is a new global event that we've been working on. In this event, there's a criminal faction that sets a blockade around some of the space stations in the universe. This makes trade and travel between these stations problematic, and their goal in doing this is to prevent the trade of one specific material that is important for the refinement of spaceship fuel.
The idea is that a player will be called to help deliver a new commodity that is involved in the production of quantum fuel and deliver it from our LEO stations, like Everest Harbor, to its refinery sister stations. And we have to deliver a certain amount of this within a certain narrow amount of time.
To me personally, this is way too heavy on the PvE and cargo hauling side, but I'm going to let it play out and we'll see what happens. Again, they need to properly support the PvP side here, where players can take maybe an opposing mission, or I don't know, because this was one of the issues with Ninetales, right? Where the blues always outnumber the reds, and if they didn't, it was just never fun because it was never even, and there's no way to guarantee it's even, and maybe that's why they're going with NPCs. I just want to hear what you guys think about this, to be honest, because I'm not overly excited about it, but at the same time, I'm intrigued about what it might be, because, yeah, a PvE solution might be what we need to get the feel that they wanted out of Ninetales. But, in the end, there's PvP in this game, and I think what a lot of the non-PvP players are going to want is they're going to want PvP-focused content for PvP-focused players. So PvP-focused players stop bothering players that just want to do PvE-focused content, right? So they really haven't done a good job of nailing that down yet, and they kind of need to. But with that, let's jump into some other updates. And it's pretty short this week. We had a sneak peek, but this was a proper sneak peek this week. It's wild. It's a gif of, I don't know, it feels like a Halloween event. They're on a caterpillar. There's definitely new armors being shown here. So yeah, typically there's like a combination of something found in game and then something you can buy on the website, which is, yeah, I'd be okay with that, as long as it's not as low effort as last year. Give us something new, right? Like, do not do the Vandal Mask again. Do something else. It looks like they're going to, which is pretty cool. And then we got a Galactopedia update, and the main article is about Yella and its history. And honestly, it's pretty cool to check out, but I got this as a note from AstroPub on Twitter, so thanks, Astro. He thinks that the last paragraph on ground racing is on Yella is basically implying that we might expect a ground racetrack here at some point in the near future. And then the shorter articles are like all GN systems. And then the F8C. They sent us a newsletter out to concierge members teasing the F8C on it, almost like they're planning on selling it. And this ship was actually never to be sold, ever. It was said it would never, ever be sold, but then it was given as a gift to concierge members who spent $10,000 on Star Citizen. So essentially, selling the ship for $10,000. I didn't buy this as it was a ploy, because I think it was a ploy to have more people hit the 10,000 mark. Hey, if somebody's at 9,000, they might actually give us an extra 1,000. Like, this is an insane way to make a lot of money. It was very smart by them. So, like, kind of kudos to them on that. You're not going to really get mad at them for, doing a good job, I guess, at convincing people to spend money on their project. But they did it by lying to their player base. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go back on their words even more now, because these departments at the company don't care about keeping their word or a promise. If they sell the ship in combination with everything else that's gone on this year, it gives the vibes that they're not doing well and they're starting to look really desperate. Maybe make a decent product and you wouldn't have to go back on your word. I have receipts. So this is Chris Roberts from, I'm not even sure what year. This was still when they called it RTV.
What's up with the F8 Lightning? What's to do with the F8 Lightning, Chris?
Well, I don't think anyone's actually read the concierge booklet. So you don't get the F8 Lightning until Squadron's out. And our actual idea is there's a few ships that we want to have you play Squadron, and if you get to the point in Squadron that you get to fly them, then you get the badge to be able to get that ship in the persistent universe. So if you're not concierge at a very high level, you'll still be able to get the F8C. You just will have to have played Squadron far enough along, kind of near the end. It's sort of a little bit like Wing Commander, where you move up in flying different ships as you get a little further on. And if you do that, you'll earn the badge. And I think this probably relates to another question that you have down here. And it will enable you to be able to purchase that in the PU after you've completed Squadron. So the idea is essentially Squadron has to come out and then it will be available, and then you can either earn it by playing Squadron all the way through, or where as a thank you to some of the people that have really helped us make this game, develop it, really supported it on an incredibly enthusiastic level. Yes. We wanted to do a couple of nice things to say thank you, because we wouldn't be sitting here having this discussion, we wouldn't be building the game that we're building, won't build a Squadron to the level that we're building it to without the incredibly enthusiastic support. So, that's kind of the idea of actually the concierge program, is that the people that sort of, really, I don't know whether I say all in, but are more enthusiastic, or everyone should, like whether it's you're just getting a basic ship, or you're doing a lot more, everything's appreciated, and it's enabling us to do what we're doing, and no one needs to do anything more than the very basic ship. But for the people that sort of go above and beyond, we want to have like a couple of fun things for them, a couple of items that you definitely it's kind of like a bit more sort of cool and flary, not necessarily something you can only get if you're that, because like I said, you'll be able to earn the F8C by completing Squadron and getting to the point where you actually get to fly. So
this
F8.
is after they went back on their word the first time and explained themselves, and people were okay with that. I don't think I ever was, but it is what it is now, and now it's potentially going to be even worse. Let me know what you guys think. It's not a big deal. It's not going to affect a lot of people, but at the same time, isn't that a bit of a red flag or a sign or something to be nervous about? Maybe. But with that, that'll do it for this week, guys. I do apologize for the late episode. It's going to be very late. Just some IRL things going on and just like inability to sleep. So many problems. So you're going to get a very unproduced video without the TV or anything too fancy going on. We're just going to throw this one together. So leave a like, big like for me this week, because I wasn't planning on actually putting it out, and then I got motivated by somebody on Twitter. So thank you to that guy on Twitter, and I appreciate it. But that's it for this week. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment down below, and I'll be back on my normal schedule next week. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys next week.